Well, hello. Welcome. My name is Jodi Scholes. I'm your instructor for the MBLEX review course. You made it. You're here. You made it to class. If you're listening later, hi, and welcome to everyone who's here live. Today, we are talking about the elbow and the radial ulnar joints. So I'm going to be going slow because we're going to be using the scientific names for the elbow. We're going to be exploring the radial ulnar joints. Yes, we're going to be talking about the forearm, the wrist, the elbow. Going to get right on in there. What muscles move what movement is actually happening at what joint. However, wanted to give you frame it in. Today we're going to have three sections of class. The first is a test taking strategy. The second is our learning. And the third part of class, we're dissecting some questions. I looked over those questions again this morning and I was like, oh, I'm mean. I'm just mean. These class questions are, but if you get them on the MBLEX, I want you to be like, I got this. I got this. All right. My test taking strategy for you today is to understand the importance of test taking stamina. With this course, we have two different practice exams for you. Both of those exams are brand new every time. There's about 1,500 questions in each of those exams, and they randomly select 100 questions each time. We have those two tests. One has immediate feedback, so that after every question you answer, you get immediate feedback. The other is a simulation exam. So it's called the MBLEX simulation exam. Still 100 random questions, but it doesn't give you immediate feedback. You have to answer the question before moving forward. You can't go back and change an answer. This simulates what the same as the MBLEX, what you're going to experience when you take your MBLEX. Yeah. So we've got those two tests for you. And I've noticed that some people are just reluctant to take the simulation exam. They don't want to, maybe they don't want to know. It's hard. What we recommend when you're taking these practice exams, finish them all in one session, whether it's immediate feedback or the simulation exam. Please finish all in one setting. Why? Because it builds your stamina. Oh, Jodi, I need to get something to drink. I need to get something to eat. I don't always have time. I have kids. I have to sleep. I have to work out, but burp, all excuses. This is what you need to pass your MBLEX. This is what you want to do. Sure, I'd love to. I want to take the whole thing all at once. I just can't. Well, guess what? I disagree. You can. And here's the difference. You're not going to find the time. There's a big difference between finding time and making time. And if you are here with me now, listening to this course, that tells me you can make the time. Maybe you're gonna have to disappoint somebody. Maybe you're gonna have to stand up for yourself. Well, no better time than the present. This is a big goal to pass the MBLEX. Things are gonna need to change. You're going to need to make the time to take a full practice exam. And I'm going to double down on tough today. I want you to do it twice a week. Is it possible? I'm gonna give you an example from last week. Many of you saw the announcement that Valeria passed the test. Let me see if Valeria is with us today. I don't know if she makes it in. Tara, please shoot me a little direct message or a note or a text or something because I'd love to hear from her. But Valeria passed last week. She said the majority of her questions were three answers. Woo, that's good news. She was in New York taking the MBLEX. But I said to her, so how you feeling? She was excited. I'm so relieved. She goes, Jodi, I haven't watched TV in 2 months. Do you watch TV? That tells me you have time to study. I'm here for you. I am here to empower you to find your voice, to make the time. You may live in a home with other people. You may have kids. You may have a full-time job. Cool. I know that's a lot, but you must make time to take full practice exams to be prepared for this test. You need the stamina. You need to experience it. You want the stamina. You want to experience what it's going to be like over and over and over again. So that's my test taking strategy for you today. Take practice exams. Take 2 a week. And if you can't do that this week, then set yourself up next week. If you can't do that today, set yourself up tomorrow to be able to take a practice exam. Building your test taking stamina, building your focus is key to passing the NBLEX. All right. So is learning. Ready to do some learning? Let's make sure we're in the right spot. Yes. Sorry for the delay, guys. I'm trying to close some windows here so that everything runs well. Okay. Here we go. Today, we're going to be talking about kinesiology of the forearm. So the elbow and the radius, the ulna, and the elbow. So we're focusing on then. I am going to touch on the wrists as well. Let's start with the obvious one, the elbow joint. Go ahead and touch your elbow joint. This is what we're going to call it. This is the name we're going to call this joint for our clients. We aren't going to use the scientific names with clients, but the elbow joint is where we're going to start. The elbow joint's classification is that it's a hinge joint. Yeah. So this is a hinge joint. If you have cupboards in your kitchen, if you have a door on the front of your house or on your bedroom, many times it's a hinge joint. So it's a hinge. All of our movable joints are synovial. Let me say that again. All of our movable joints are synovial because they've got synovial fluid. So this is a compound joint because it has more than two bones, but the movement here at this joint is flexion and extension. We're going to dig down right in here and see exactly what makes up the elbow joint. So again, it is a synovial joint. All of our synovial joints, all of our movable joints are synovial. It's a hinge joint, and the movement is flexion and extension. All right. Oh, and one other word, uniaxial. Uniaxial. That means one axis. Unicorn, unicycle, uniaxial. It's actually just one movement at that joint. Here's a closer picture of the elbow. The elbow has three articulations. Three. Now you're like, what? Three? Yeah, okay. So you've got the humerus and the ulna. That's like the true elbow joint. But then you've got the humerus and the radius, and you've got the radial ulnar connection. So this is our elbow. The major part of our elbow is here. There's the radius and the ulna. Good. So we're going to talk about each of those three articulations, all three of them. So articulate basically means to touch or talk. When you articulate your point, you're talking. These are touch points. Articulations are where two bones touch. They meet, they articulate. An articulation is a joint. Each of these three has a name. I thought this was a nicer picture too. You can see all three bones. Here's the humerus coming down. This is the joint between the humerus and the ulna. Take a peek here. Oh, we'll see this again. I'll mention it later. You don't have to know all of these things. We're going to cover them today, but you don't need to memorize it from this particular slide. Let's start with the humeral ulnar joint. Humerus and the ulna. So the articulation of the humeral ulnar joint. Between the humerus and the ulna, the humerus has a trochlea and the ulna has a trochlea notch. They go together. This is the elbow. They go together. So the trochlea notch goes with the trochlea. Let's take a peek here. So here is our trochlea. We're going to see another, I think I have another picture of this. Yes, here we go. So here's the elbow. We've got this trochlear joint, this humeral ulnar joint. This is the trochlear notch in the ulna. And this distal end of the humerus has kind of a hourglass shape to the bottom of it. One is the trochlea. We're going to see another picture of that a little later. I wanted to point out, though, in this slide, please note that the olecranon process, you've got olecranon fossa, you've got olecranon da, but the olecranon process is actually part of the tibia. Oh, tibia, listen to me. The ulna, the ulna. Where are we? Yeah, we're in the arm, right? Yeah. So the olecranon process is technically the pointy part of your elbow. This is actually a part of the tibia. Oh my goodness, the tibia again, the ulna, ulna, ulna. Catch me on these things. All right. Time to dissect some questions. This is going to be all about the humerus, radius, and ulna, all about the elbow, the forearm, the wrist, and the movements and muscles in that region. So you're lucky today. You know what region of the body we're in. Okay, let's get to it. First question. The humeral-ulnar joint is formed between the blank of the humerus and the blank of the ulna. All right, the humeral-ulnar joint is formed between the what of the humerus and the what of the ulna. These are articulation points. So, A, the trochlea of the humerus, the trochlea notch of the ulna, the capitulum of the humerus, and the head of the radius. C, the trochlea of the humerus and the head of the radius. D, the capitulum of the humerus and the trochlea notch of the ulna. All right, before you watched this, you would have not known what those words meant, right? Or maybe have forgotten. So, trochlea of the humerus, trochlea notch of the ulna, capitulum of the humerus and the head of the radius, the trochlea of the humerus, the head of the radius, the capitulum of the humerus, trochlea notch of the ulna. Now, the humeral ulnar joint, so we can get rid of one wrong answer, right? Okay, are you ready? Best answer. We're talking the humeral ulnar joint. So it's not going to be these, right? Okay, best answer. Boom. Letter A. This is the true elbow, and the trochlea goes with the trochlea notch. The true elbow is the humerus ulna, and the trochlea goes with the trochlea notch. Good job. Next question. The humero-ulnar joint permits blank and blank of the blank. Let me read that again. The humero-ulnar joint permits blank and blank of the blank. And here's a technique you can use in the MBLEX. Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. See if it fits. Let's give it a try. We'll use letter A. The humeral-ulnar joint permits flexion and extension of the elbow. Next, letter B, which is a true statement. Letter B. The humeral-ulnar joint permits flexion and extension of the shoulder. The humeral-ulnar joint permits radial deviation and ulnar deviation at the wrist. The humeral-ulnar joint permits radial deviation and ulnar deviation at the elbow. Let's get rid of one wrong answer. Which one do you want to get rid of? I know which one I want to get rid of. Let's get rid of letter C. The humeral-ulnar joint permits what and what of the blank? 3, 2, 1, go. Larissa, Valerie, Leck and Raven, Edgar and Michaela. Oh, Edgar, yes. Good. Where am I? Brienne, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the humeral-ulnar joint, where is it? It's another name for it. Best answer? Boom. Elbow. The humeral-ulnar joint allows for flexion and extension at the elbow. I told you these questions are kind of mean. All right, next question. Yay! All right, so you are going to have a worksheet as a part of this lesson. Good job today. Did you learn a little something about the wrist and the forearm? Yeah, the wrist, the elbow. Yes, congratulations. Good. And I just know that you're getting clearer on understanding the questions when it comes to the movement of the body. Good job. Good job. All right, there's going to be a worksheet that goes along with this particular class. It will be 20 questions on those fill in the blanks. So you can print it and you can fill in the blanks. Be very careful because remember that first, even I messed up the first question. So it's that humeral ulnar joint that makes the elbow. So really watch the description of the joint to pull apart those two words to know where you are in the body. I'm going to sign off on the recording by reminding you my name is Jodi Scholes. I am your instructor for the MBLEX Review Course Live. We meet every week to come together to study for the MBLEX and to really be your accountability buddy, to be your accountability partner in getting you closer to calmly and confidently passing the MBLEX. So signing off on the recording for now. See you soon.